All right, guys, I'm going to pick up with this part of the video. I cut the other one short abruptly, but let's just go ahead and look at the examples now, okay? All right, so the first thing you want to do is check to see if you have parentheses. So I look in the problem, there are no parentheses. I'm going to cross that out. Then the next thing you want to do is look in the problem and see if you see exponents. Well, I see an exponent. There's an exponent right here. So I'm going to take care of that part first. That part is 4 to the second power. But 4 to the second power simply means 4 times 4, which is 16. So where I see 4 to the second power, I get to replace it with 16. Okay, I don't see any other exponents, so the rest of this stuff comes down. So the only thing I changed was 4 to the second power to 16. That's it. Okay, so the next step after you clear out the exponent is to check to see if you see multiplication or division. Okay, so you're going to be checking this part of the problem. You're not going to look up here anymore, okay? Look at the last line you wrote. So looking at the last line we wrote, or the last row for the problem, I keep looking and see division right here. So I see 16 divided by 2. Well, 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I get to replace this part with 8. And these things get to come down. 16 plus 9 and also minus 8. Okay, that's it. All right, now, any other multiplication or division, you're going to look at this row. Look right here. Any multiplication or division there? I just see addition and subtraction. So no multiplication or division. So now I just work on, I'm going to cross these eyes as I do them. Addition and subtraction. When you get down to addition and subtraction, don't worry about doing it from left to right. Just split it up like I taught you to. This is positive. This is positive, and this is negative. I'm going to take these two that are positive and add because they're the same sign. 16 plus 9 is 25, so I get 25 positives, but I still have 8 negatives. And let me erase something. I'm going to write it like this. I still have 25 positives, but it's minus 8. Okay, it's regular subtraction, or you can say that different sign so I can subtract. And when you subtract 25 minus 18, 25 minus 8, you can't say 5 minus 8, so you borrow. Change that to a 15. 15 minus 8 is 7, and bring down the 1. So it's 17 is more positives than negative, or you can just say 25 minus 8 is 17. So my final answer is 17. Okay? And I need to write that better than that. That is my final answer. All right, on number 3, and I won't be doing all these problems, so you'll see some circle. I'll only be doing the ones that are circle. You're going to do the same thing on your practice. You won't be doing all the problems on the practice. You're only going to be doing the circle ones. Okay, you're going to first of all check to see if you see parentheses. Well, no parentheses, so cross it out. Now you're going to check to see if you see exponents. Well, I see an exponent right here. Again, it's 4 to the second power. So that's 4 times 4, which is 16. So this whole thing right here changes to 16. And the rest of this stuff just simply comes down. You just bring it down. But when you get to this part, you put 16. So let me bring all this down. And now instead of putting minus 4 to the second power, you put minus 16. And then bring down your plus 10. You can cross out exponents because I don't have any left in this row. I'm done. All right, then you're checking to see if you have any multiplication or division. Now, when you decide whether you multiply or divide, you just see which one comes first if you have both of them. So I look in the problem and I notice that I see division and I see multiplication. But the question is, which one comes first? Or which one comes first in your problem? Because sometimes you can switch them out. In the problem, division comes first. So I'm only going to do this part right here first. Okay, I'm going to do the division first because it beats the multiplication in that problem. So I'm going to say negative 88 divided by 11. So negative divided by positive is a negative. That's going to give me, I'm going to replace this whole thing part right here with what it equals to, which is negative 8. Then I get to bring down times 3 minus 16 plus 10. Now I'm going to look at this and still check to see if I see any multiplication or division. Now I may not see division, but now I see multiplication. So I'm going to take care of that part. Negative 8 times positive 3 is negative 24. So I get to replace both of these numbers with a negative 24 because both of those numbers multiplied together equal negative 24. So I don't have to keep both of those numbers anymore. I just change it to negative 24 because that's what it equals. And then I'm going to bring down minus 16 plus 10. Okay, look in this row. Any multiplication or division left? Well, that would be a no. So I can cross those out. So now I'm left with addition and subtraction. So when you're left with that, you just draw your bars and do it the way I taught you. That's negative, that's positive. Both of those are the same, so I'm going to add them. Negative 24 plus negative 16 gives me negative 40. But I still have this positive 10. Okay, those two go in they're different signs. Or you can say they go in different directions if I taught you directions last year. Since they are different signs, you're going to subtract. So I have 40 minus 10, which is 30. 40, but it's more negatives than positives. So my answer here is negative 30. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. Now, I want you to notice something. When it's mashed together here like that with nothing in between, like you don't see a plus sign in between them or you don't see a minus sign in between them. When it's just mashed together like this with nothing in between, the number in the parentheses, it means multiplication, okay? So I just want you to know that before we start. If there's no plus or minus in between between two numbers, it's multiplication, all right? If they're mashed together. All right, hold on one second, guys. All right, so I'm going to start off again by checking this part. Any parentheses? Well, you see parentheses, but inside of it is the number 10. So you're only doing what's inside of it. There's nothing to do. You already have only one number inside. There's no operation. There's no add, subtract, multiply, divide that you have to do inside of that. So cross that out because there's nothing to do inside of it. Then you're going to check to see if you see an exponent. I see an exponent back here. So that's 5 to the second power. So 5 times 5 is 25. So all this other stuff I just bring down. The only thing I want to change is this 5 to the second power to 25. That's all I do. The rest of the stuff stays the same. Okay, no exponents left in this row. Okay, so cross it out. But you're going to check for multiplication and division. Okay, so you're going to check for multiplication and division. Remember when I told you that when it's mashed together like this, it means multiplication? Okay, and I think I spelled it wrong right there, but oh well, you know what I mean. All right, when it's mashed together like that, it means multiplication, guys. So we have to keep that in mind. So this is multiplication and there's division. I see both of them. The question is, which one do you do first in this problem? Well, in this problem, multiplication comes before division. So instead of dividing and then multiplying like we did on this problem, see if you go back and look up here, we divided first and then we multiplied. That's because division came before multiplication. But down here, multiplication comes before division, okay? So we're going to multiply first. I'm going to do that part that's underlined in green right there. So I know that I have 4 times 10, which is 40. So I have 12 minus 40 divided by 8. Bring the rest of the stuff down. That's all you're changing. You're just changing one little thing at a time. Now look at this row and see if you have any multiplication or division left. Sure, I got division right there. That's 40 divided by 8, which is 5. So I get to replace both of these numbers with the number 5, because 40 divided by 8 is 5. And then you bring the rest of the stuff down. Okay, check this row. Any multiplication division left on that row? Nope. So now we're down to addition and subtraction. When you get to that part, just do what I normally taught you. Label, that's positive, that's negative, and that's negative. I'm going to take all these negatives and put them together. So I got a negative 34 to put with a negative 25 and to put with a negative 5. Add all of them up because they're the same sign. So that's 9 plus 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. And keep it negative. So I have 64 negatives. But I still have these 12 positives. Okay, these signs are different. So I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to take 64 and subtract 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. But I got more negatives than positives. So this answer is negative 52. And that's all you do. Okay, let's look at some with some parentheses in it. So let's take a look at number 5. All right, looking at number 5, you're checking to see if you see parentheses. And when I say parentheses, I mean what is inside parentheses. Hold on one second. What are you doing? You can't get out of there. All right, so what's inside of the parentheses? So inside of the parentheses here, you got a negative and a positive. So you should know you got to subtract those. Now, there's nothing to do inside of the parentheses here because all you got is a number in it. Okay, so don't worry about that. So let's take care of this part. Inside the parentheses, I have negative 7 plus 4. Well, that's negative and that's positive, okay? They're different signs, so you're going to subtract, you get 3, but you got more negatives than positives. So I'm going to replace the two numbers in parentheses with simply the number negative 3. That's it. Then I'm going to bring down the rest of the stuff, the 4, and take the two numbers in here and replace it with negative 3. And then divide it by 2 to the second power minus negative 5 to the second power. All right, check the next row of math. No more parentheses. I know you're saying, well, yes, I do. No, there's nothing to do inside of that. There's nothing to do inside of it. So always look inside the parentheses to see if you got to do that part right there. Okay, so cross it out. Then next, check for exponents. I see an exponent here and an exponent here. So I got two exponents to take care of. Let's take care of this one first. 2 to the second power is 2 times 2, which is 4. And then you got this one. So I'm going to do negative 5 to the second power, which is negative 5 times negative 5, which is positive 25. Because we all know a negative times a negative is a positive, or same sign gives us a positive when we multiply. So I'm just going to write everything else back down the way it is. 4 stays. The negative 3 stays. The division stays. But 2 to the second power gets replaced with 4 because that's what it equals. Minus this. Well, this gets replaced with 25 because that's what it equals. Okay? So I got rid of the exponents. No more exponents on that row right there. Not that row of math. So now I move on and I check multiplication and division. Well, I told you when it's mashed together like this, it's multiplication. And then, of course, you see division. In this problem, multiplication beats division. So I'm going to multiply first. Write that a little better. So I'm going to multiply 4 times negative 3. Positive 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And guys, you got to be real careful with the signs on these things because one wrong sign will cause you to get the whole problem wrong. All right, divided by 4 minus 25. I'm just write the rest of this down. Now check this row of math. Are you finished with multiplication and division? If yes, move on to addition and subtraction, but you're not. Here is division. So I'm going to take negative 12 and divide it by 4. Negative 12 divided by positive 4 leaves us with negative 3. So these two numbers, because when I divide these two numbers, I get negative 3, I can replace these two numbers with negative 3 and then bring down minus 25. So now I'm left with just addition and subtraction. Both of these are negative. So since they're both negative, I can add them. Negative 25 plus negative 3 ends up being negative 28. And that's all you do. Okay, let's look at something like number 8. Again, I'm not doing all of these, okay? So looking at something like number 8, check to see if there's anything inside the parentheses to do. Okay? Well, I see something inside of these parentheses. I got 24 minus 49. So I just have to decide what to do with those. That's positive and that is negative. So since they're different, I subtract them. Put the bigger number on top. 9 minus 4 is 5 and 4 minus 2 is 2. But you got more negatives than positives. So make it negative 25. So inside of the parentheses, because you're dealing with parentheses, inside the parentheses, put negative 25. So when you get to these two numbers in parentheses, replace that part with negative 25, okay? So bring down 75, bring down plus 6 times 5 divided by 3, minus, and inside the parentheses, I'm going to put the negative 25, okay? Now look for exponents. Well, in this problem, there are no exponents. Not right in here on this line of math. Then look for multiplication or division. Well, I see multiplication is that little dot. That means that's what multiplication can be represented that way. Divided by is after multiplication. So I'm going to multiply first. So I'm going to multiply 6 times 5 first, which gives me 30. So I get to replace 6 times 5 with 30. So I have 75. And the 6 and the 5 get replaced with 30 because that's what you get when you multiply them together. Divided by 3 minus negative 25. Now look at this line of math. Are you finished with multiplication or division? That would be a no, because right here you have division. So let's do that part next. Let's bring the rest of this down. 30 divided by 3. 30, that was the time sign. 30 divided by 3 is 10. So these two numbers get replaced with 10 because that's what you get when you divide those two numbers. Now you're down to nothing but addition and subtraction. So, excuse me, guys, you can just draw your bars and see what you got. This is positive, and this double negative is also positive. So all you do is add up all these numbers. 75 plus 10 plus 25. 10 carry the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. So this answer is simply 110. All positive. Okay, I don't have 9 down, but I want to do 9, okay? All right, so first of all, you're going to check parentheses. All right, check the parentheses. I see 2 sets. So in one set, I see 3 to the second power minus 1. And in the other set, I see 4 minus 3 times 6. Okay? All right, so let's take care of the first set. So I'm going to say 3 squared. Well, 3 squared is 9. Okay, I know that because 3 squared is 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 gives me 9. Minus 1. So in that set, I get the number 8. So when you get to this set right here, put 8 in the parentheses. When you replace this set, when you get right here, put 8 in here, okay? Instead of 3 squared minus 1, just put 8. Now let's talk about this set. Well, some people would say 4 minus 3 first and then multiply by 6. But 4 minus 3 is subtraction. And 3 times 6 is multiplication, okay? When you are working inside of parentheses, you must also follow order of operations. So does subtraction beat multiplication? Does subtraction come before multiplication? But here's subtraction, here's multiplication. Multiplication and division have to be done before you can do addition or subtraction. So before you can do anything down here, you must take care of everything up this way. And since you have multiplication in the problem, I need you to take care of the multiplication before you take care of the subtraction. Okay? So still follow order of operations inside of parentheses. So in this particular case, I'm not going to say 4 minus 3 first because I don't subtract before I multiply. I'm going to say 3 times 6. And 3 times 6 is 18. So it's 4 minus 18. Now I can subtract if the signs tell me to. That's positive and that's negative. And the signs tell me to because they're different. So that's 18 minus 4, 14. And it's more negatives than positives. So inside of that parentheses, I'm going to put negative 14. So inside of this one, I put negative 14, guys. Okay, let's write all the rest of this stuff back down. All right, I'm going to start off in green. So bring down the 14, bring down your divide, bring down your 2. And when you get to this set of parentheses right here, replace it with 8 because that's what we ended up with. Then bring down minus 3. But when you get to that next set of parentheses, this set, we ended up with negative 14. Put it in. That's what you put in parentheses. So instead of this stuff being in parentheses, negative 14 is in parentheses. Instead of this stuff being in parentheses, 8 is in parentheses, okay? All right, so now, got my parentheses. They're gone. Check this line of math to see if you see any exponents. I don't see any exponents. I don't see any little bit of numbers at the top. Now go on and check to see if you have multiplication or division. Okay, well, I do have some multiplication and division. This part is division, and this part is mashed together with no sign in between. There's nothing in there. That space in the middle that's blank there's no plus or minus in between. That tells me that it's multiplication, okay? Let me make sure I write that a little better because I don't want to confuse anybody. They really should be smushed together a little better, okay? All right, so let's take care of division. In this particular case, division beats multiplication. So let's divide first. So I'm going to do 14 divided by 2, which is 7. So both of these, hold on, guys. The 14 and the 2 simply change to a 7 because that's what you get when you divide them. And then bring down your parentheses 8 minus 3 parentheses negative 14. So now let's check this line of math. Any multiplication or division left in that line of math? Yep. Right here, these are mashed together, so that indicates multiplication. 7 times 8 is 56. And now somebody's saying, well, there's another set of things that are mashed together. Okay, so we have, let me write this, 7 times 8, that's 56. And then minus, let's bring this down. Check this line. See any multiplication division in that line? I see multiplication right here. I still got multiplication, so I can bring down 56 minus, and this time it's going to be 3 times negative 14. Positive 3 times negative 14. Well, let's see what that equals. I know it's negative something. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 1. Plus the 1 is 4. So it's going to be negative 42. So now I'm going to have 56 minus negative 42. Anytime you subtract the negative, put it in parentheses, guys. So here I will be subtracting a negative 42. Now, had that been positive 42, I just could have written 56 minus 42. But since 42 was negative, I had to write 56 minus negative 42. And when you subtract a negative number, make sure to use parentheses, okay? Okay, now, check this line. See if you see any more multiplication or division. Okay, that would be a no. Now you're down to addition and subtraction. That's positive 56, and this double negative is also plus 42. So you got two positives. You got a positive 56 and a positive 42. They're the same sign, so add them. So I end up with a positive 98, and that's all you do. Be careful right here that you don't put 14 in parentheses. It's negative 14. And be careful right here because you're subtracting negative 42, not positive 42, okay? All right, I am not going to do number 10. The last one I'm going to do is 13, guys. And on 13, I need you to change something on your paper. I'm going to need you to change 34 to 5, okay? So instead of minus 34, I'm going to make it minus 5, all right? All right. So notice that this thing has a top and a bottom. That's because it's a fraction. So when you have a fraction, you need to do the top. Then you need to do the bottom. And then you can divide them, okay? Divide the top by the bottom. Because this bar in the middle means divide, okay? So let's do the top. So we're going to follow PEMDAS on the top. Remember, those are interchangeable. And we're going to follow PEMDAS on the bottom. Let me write that a little better. I don't like that. So I'm going to write the top part. So this is the top part up here. Let's write it. 15 plus 3 to the second power times 2 divided by 3. So, and then I'm going to write the bottom part. The bottom part is 3 parentheses 10 minus 8 to the second power minus 5. Okay? So we're going to do one part at a time, following PEMDAS on both of them. So if you follow PEMDAS on the top one, well, this one right here. On that line, do you see parentheses? No. Okay? Now, do you see any exponents? Yeah, right here. So for the exponents, you're going to do 3 to the second power, which is 3 times 3, which is 9. So I'm going to replace 3 squared with 9, or 3 to the second power with 9. Put times 2 divided by 3 back down. So the only thing that changed was 3 to the second power. It changed to 9. This changed to that. All right, no more exponents. Now you're going to look at for multiplication or division. Well, I see on this line of math, I see multiplication and I see division. But in that problem, multiplication beats division. So I'm going to do this part first. 15 plus 9 times 2 gets replaced by 18 and then divided by 3. Okay, look at this line. Are you finished with multiplication or division? No, I see division. So now I'm going to do 18 divided by 3, which is 6. So these two numbers, when they're divided, make 6. So I just put 6 in their place. And then, of course, 15 plus 6 is 21. Excuse me, guys. All right, now, this one I'm going to look for parentheses first. Well, in parentheses, I see 10 minus 8. Well, 10 minus 8 is 2. So in parentheses, I'm going to put a 2. So 3 parentheses, change this stuff to a 2. Put your little exponent back out there, minus 5. Now be careful that you don't try to say 10 to the second power or 8 to the second power. That 2 is on the outside of the parentheses. So do what's on the inside of the parentheses first, okay? And 10 minus 8 is on the inside. 2 is on the outside. So just do 10 minus 8, which is 2 first. Then we'll worry about that exponent, okay? Got the inside of the parentheses taken care of. Now, do you see an exponent? Sure do. I see an exponent on this line of math. 3 to the second power. Not 3, but 2 to the second power. So 2 to the second power is 2 times 2, which is 4. So I get to replace this with the number 4. So it's 3 parentheses 4. Or you can put 3.4. I don't care. It means multiplication when it's mashed together. And then minus 5. Okay, any exponents left? Nope, not on this line. Okay, now you're going to be looking for multiplication or division. Well, I see multiplication right here. 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down your minus 5. Any multiplication or division left right here on that line of math? No, cross it out. And everybody should know that 12 minus 5 is 7. If you don't, that's positive, that's negative. That different sign, so you would subtract and you got more positives than negatives. Well, the higher number is positive, so 7 is positive. So looking at this, the top of this fraction was 21, divided by the bottom of the fraction, which is 7. So you just ask yourself, and I'm going to write it right here. What is 21 divided by 7? I'll write it there. 21 divided by 7 simply equals to 3. So that's your answer. So once you take the top, which was 21, and divide it by the bottom, which was 7, you end up with the whole entire answer for the fraction, which is 3. Okay, guys? All right. What you're going to do next is your practice. Now, on your practice, it's only going to tell you to complete the 8 circle problems. The answers are in the box, guys. And if you don't get these answers, you need to go back and make sure you follow PEMDAS. And when I say follow PEMDAS, you got to write PEMDAS down on your paper and cross it out as you do your parentheses, your exponents, your multiplication, division. Okay, make sure you're doing your steps in order. So you're just going to do those 8 problems that I have circled there, okay? And if you don't finish, you'll finish for homework. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you.